Welcome to another week of live trading for the month of September. This has been one of the slowest months of the year for me. So my approach to the market right now is to play more defense rather than offense. So you're going to see me being more patient, less aggressive, less active, and just picking my spots more carefully. My first trade here is the LI. The whole China sector was gapping down today, and this was gapping back down under the 20 on the daily and set up a 1-2-3 off the 2. Ended up triggering and was off to a good start, but then started to chop around and popped back over my entry. I wasn't too sure about the market direction here, and with this 5-minute printing a bottoming tail, what I decided to do was, whenever I'm not sure about a play, I like to reduce my position to half. So that's exactly what I did here as it got back into my entry, but it actually ended up going in my favor, which I'm totally fine with, because if it ended up going the other way, I would have patted myself in the back for at least killing half. I did take a quarter here as it approached today's low, which was my target, and kept the runner to see if I can make new lows, but unfortunately the last lot ended up trailing out over the 15, so in the end pretty much didn't make much. Then didn't do much in the afternoon. I was able to catch a quick pop on the Go EV, a penny stock that dropped into the 15 for a bounce, but that was my Monday. Pretty quiet overall. Tuesday was more active. Right at the open, I went after Talk, gapped up to new recent highs and played it over the 1. Not the most liquid, so I had some spread and ended up trailing out under the 1-minute bar. Then B-Fly was breaking down on the daily, making new all-time lows, so decided to short it as it was breaking down on the intraday, but hard to get filled on, but ended up getting a nice quick drop. I also got some of this NSTG on the 5-minute sell setup, which was also tough to get filled on, so was definitely undersized, but trailed it as it made new lows. Then as it came back in and it started to base at the lows, I tried reshorting it, but this time ended up popping against me. Then in the last 10 minutes of the day, I finally gave in and went after this NEO. I knew this was gapping down today, but it was gapping down on a notes offering, so I wasn't sure if it was going to follow through all that well. But clearly it had a nice move lower all day, so I decided to finally jump in as short as it stayed weak and was making new lows, and ended up making 2 Rs right at the close here. So this is one of those times I wish I didn't know the news of it today and just focused on the gap itself, because I think it would have made my day. But at least I was able to capitalize on some of it right at the end here. Wednesday, tried a few scalps at the open from the carryover list, but nothing really moved. Here I got the Seal short, which gapped down because of failed trial results. Turned into a penny stock and shorted it on the breakdown, but couldn't get filled much and didn't move much. But also tried flipping it long, but it looks like it lost its momentum and just stopped moving this morning. Then took it easy. Not much setups out there, if you couldn't tell. I'm like over here practicing my golf swing. I did try this Kano short, which was another penny stock, as it was breaking down just for a small drop in between my golf swings. And here I'm actually fixing my son's Lego that he broke, so didn't really trade much and called it a day after that. One thing I noticed about myself this year is that I got really good at sitting on my hands, not really by choice, because I feel like there's just not a lot of opportunities out there for me at this time. So being very passive in my trading. Thursday, I didn't see any of my top watchers set up for me this morning. Shifted to see if there were anything I can quickly scalp. Came across the Nikola. This has been pretty active this week, and found a quick scalp short off this penny base. Then I came across Blink, which had a small gap down, making new lows on the daily. Got sold off this morning and had a base breakdown. Got in it short as it made new lows. Was looking to add to it below the 1-2-3 setup and lowered my stop right above it. And of course, the second I take my eyes off of it to check on the Seal breakdown that I was trying to get filled on, that's when it decides to pop against me. So what should have made a little bit of money, I now had to kill it for a loss. Now, I don't mind trading my setups and it not working out. That's totally fine. It's part of the probability game. But there's really no room for this kind of mistake in this environment. So even though it's not a crazy amount of money, everything just feels more magnified because it's just hard to come across opportunities. And it just sucks to miss my exits. Then later in the afternoon, I noticed the B-Fly from earlier this week. Got a big pop and shorted it off the hourly sell setup for a quick drop into the rising 1520 MA. Threw out a market order to exit as it was flipping. And of course, TOS holds my orders again. So check it out. I had over 11,000 shares. There's the market order. It fills only 1,000 shares. Now another 2,000 shares. And check out how long this takes. Unbelievable. Now, I guess I could have called to try and get it adjusted, but what I had to go through last time, I didn't feel like it was worth all that since it was just like $100. So whatever, they can keep that shit. And then that pretty much wrapped up the day. Friday, my top watch was the ING. It's an ADR. I don't usually go after ADRs right at the open, but there really wasn't much else to watch. And I actually make the mistake of jumping in a bit early here, so I did have to kill and re-enter as it broke the 5-minute. It didn't quite get to target, but decided to trail some over the 2 as it looked like it wanted to bounce. And then it ended up making new lows, so my plan was to add under the 15-minute 1-2-3 and lower the stop on the back half right over it. But unfortunately, it decided to trail me out. Then I went after AZN, another ADR. The problem is these are not real gaps, but tried it as a breakout. Of course, it popped a bit and came right back in. I went in this with the plan of trailing tight, and I was going to kill the whole thing under the 5 right here, but I still had the rising 20 underneath, so I decided to kill only half of my position with the hopes that this uptrend holds. But nothing was following through and ended up taking a small loss on the back half. Then I've been keeping an eye on this DCFC as it was going climactic on the daily and now on the intraday. So tried it long off the bottom here. Not the most liquid, spready, so couldn't do much size and didn't bounce much anyways. Then in the afternoon, I got involved in this LLAP and LXRX, which both got stuck at the dollar mark. I waited all afternoon for them to break, which might have saved the day, but pretty much ended up watching paint dry to the close here. Ran out of time, so was forced to kill it and called it a week. Exciting stuff, right? Like I said, this month has been more about defense. My focus right now is not losing rather than making money. I also didn't feel like I traded all that well this week, but at least stayed out of trouble. We are also in the off season, so it should pick up in October. Earnings season kicks off the second week, so hopefully it develops into a decent quarter to kind of close off the year. I actually can't wait for this year to be over because it's one of the slowest times I've ever traded. But that is going to do it. Hope you enjoyed this one. As always, I appreciate you for being here, and I hope to see you on the next one.